Hey guys, it's me, Melinda. I probably just sat down at my desk. My heart is probably palpitating with terror and trepidation, and now I am probably guessing that my face is just buried in my hands because I'm embarrassed and know that I need to just shut up and get on with the project. Okay, so first thing we're going to be talking about is the roles of men and women within Beowulf, and I'm actually going to depict that with some modern day interview questions that I asked a couple of friends. Got a little awkward. Some of you in this classroom are actually in this video and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's gonna be good. Just trying to get them in the mindset of characters within Beowulf. We're gonna be talking a little bit about the Germanic ideal that's kind of fusing with Christianity as a result of the time period. We're gonna mention some important terminology known as comitatus. We're also gonna be talking about kennings because I have a load of them and I love them and I'm excited because I have a little exercise for us and hopefully it'll be fun. There's a prize involved. I'll just, bribe you up front. Okay, let's go. Within this interview, I divided up guys' questions and girls' questions. So let's start with our dudes. I gave it to him pretty bad. All right, I'm gonna give you letter choices, so pick a letter.
Okay.
A, reproduction, B, pleasure, or C, both.
I have no response to that. Solid B. I'm a solid B kind of guy.
Hey Nick, do you want to say hi to yourself in class?
Hello. C. C. D neither. Wait. Other. For my thanes.
Yes.
I don't know how to answer. I'm thinking thanes means my friends.
Yes,
and
your
yeah,
boys.
I would do anything for my thanes.
You would do anything for your...
Anything for the thanes.
No. Like my boo thing?
Your thanes.
No.
Means your boys.
Oh. Anything is way too broad of a term.
That's what I was thinking.
Tell me something great about yourself.
Something great about yourself.
My word.
Oh, who got the worst one?
Yeah, I hate this question. I think I'm very personable.
What is something really cool about yourself?
I'm missing part of my finger now.
Sit here? Yes. Okay, perfect. So, what's your name? I'm sorry. I forgot to preface that I'm bleeping out all of their names because according to Beowulf, they don't matter. Hey, what's your name? I'm Hey. Hey. You said it's What's your name? Hey, wave at yourself in class. We're gonna be right here. You can turn and wave.
Hey. You're doing great, sweetie.
What are y'all's names? I'm Hey, what's your name? All right, ladies, what are y'all's names?
My name's I'm
I promise I'm done. I promise I'm a Christian too. I'm sorry. This question is twofold.
Okay.
First question,
Would you consider your hips ideal for bearing sons? And secondly, can I measure?
Do you actually want to measure?
Hi guys, would you guys consider your hips ideal for bearing sons? And if so, can I measure?
They're ideal for whatever I want them to be ideal for. They're mine.
There are two kinds of women in this world. Women who heartily desire marriage, and women who are monsters. Which one are you?
What? I'd like to think the first.
The first one, but
The
what
first
makes you
one?
a monster?
My friend has a great point. I don't know if you heard her, but she said just because a woman doesn't want to get married does not necessarily make her a monster or undesirable, as Beowulf kind of paints women. Gillian Overing, author of Language, Sign, and Gender in Beowulf, actually wrote the following quote. It'll pop up on the screen in a second. It says, "There is no place for women in the masculine economy of Beowulf." She goes on to say they have no space to occupy, to claim, or to speak from. Gillian Overing actually goes on to echo a thought that we had mentioned in class, which is the fact that, and I quote, "Often the women in the poem are not identified other than as daughters, wives, or mothers." Before we move on to talk about, kennings and other things, I do think it's worth mentioning that, and we've talked about this in class, there's actually a line that we talked about. It was, yes, it is line 59. Allow me to read from this great text. He, regarding Halfdane, was 4 times a father, this fighter prince. One by one they entered the world. Hrothgar, the good Halga, and a daughter. I have heard, who was Onella's queen, a balm in bed to the battle-scarred Swede. What's in a name? Where's hers? The stark juxtaposition of this godly theological language mixed with the Germanic vernacular is very interesting. This is line 696. "But the Lord was weaving a victory on his war loom for the weather gates." Gats, not sure how to say that. "Through the strength of one, they all prevailed." And then here comes this Germanic vernacular. "They would crush their enemy and come through in triumph and gladness." And then it goes back to the Christianese. "The truth is clear. Almighty God rules over mankind and always has." Very cool. So, in an article by Holly Went, she describes this term called comitatus, which is this terminology for the Germanic ideal, coupled with morals and humility and putting one's country before oneself. And, okay, so I'm going to read this description to you. Here it is. "Reciprocal loyalty between retainer and warlord, as especially enacted by the exchange of gifts for services and services for gifts. Revenge obligation regarding injury or death on behalf of kinsmen as well as for one's lord, and fame assuring battle courage, especially if a successful outcome, battlefield victory, seems impossible." Basically, this is a word that has been used to embody the Germanic ideal that Holly Went describes in her in this article, called "Colonizing the Comitatus." So she goes on to reference J.R.R. Tolkien and his influential 1936 defense of Beowulf, which suggests the exact same thing. Tolkien argues that this idea of comitatus is not like confused Christianity, like we kind of talked about in class. Like, is this work of literature, is this, Germanic, is this Christian? Tolkien and Wendt both argue that this is a fusion that has occurred at a given point of contact between new and old. How great is that? Beowulf is the embodiment of Germanic ideal merging with Christian theology, and the word that kind of supports that is comitatus. Haha, comitatus. It's exactly like Frederick Kleber says. I love the way he says this. He characterizes the poem's particular Christian flavor. Here we go. He says, although we hear nothing of angels, saints, relics, or of Christ on the cross, this poem is the opposite of pagan barbarism. The virtues of moderation, unselfishness, and consideration for others are practiced and appreciated. All of those, moderation, unselfishness, consideration for others, that's comitatus. Haha, comitatus. And now it's time for kennings. Oh boy. If those sweet kennings did not speak to you, my heart goes out to you. Alrighty, gang, I'm gonna put a stock photo up on the screen, and hopefully it's funny enough and good enough fodder for us to craft our own kennings about it. And the funniest slash coolest slash wittiest one will get a prize. Okay, let's go. Awesome. Okay. Well, just to clarify, to provide us with a summary of what we have hopefully learned and hopefully enjoyed and hopefully laughed with and not at. Okay. We discussed the roles of men and women within the context of Beowulf. We've also talked about the Germanic ideal in juxtaposition with Christianity and also kind of its fusion as well. And we brought up the term comitatus. And then we also discussed kennings because they're awesome and we just had some practice with that. So hopefully our kenning for our sweet Linda Livingstone was incredible. Anyway, yeah, okay. Bye.